All right, welcome back to the Hicks homestead. Yeah, this is gonna be an interesting video. The E3600LFP that got sent out for repair is back. So far, everything seems to be going well with it. So I decided I'm gonna make a video. Right now, I'm doing what the manufacturer told me to do in an email. So if you don't do this with your new unit, you probably should do it at some point. They want you to charge it all the way up to 100%, and then they want you to discharge it down to 0%, and then recharge again. So that's supposed to help make sure all of the cells in the battery bank are balanced. Well, I got it back yesterday, and I brought it inside back where I had my testing set up with my solar. That's why it's in my bedroom, which is a mess with all of these fans and nonsense. All of the fans, I'm using this only as a fan. I'm not using it as an air conditioner. I don't know if that's what caused the inverter board to go out in there or not. But this has an unusually high amount of inrush for what it is. So probably not going to use that on this system anymore. I'll just save this as a backup to run with a gasoline generator if I need an air conditioner for a hurricane or something. So with all of the fans running, I've got 3 fans running. I've got this 12 volt refrigerator over here running that's plugged into the 12 volt outlet. The monstrosity I made with an old uninterruptible power supply. Turns out the voltage spikes are terrible on that thing. With nothing plugged in, it's sitting at like 110, but as soon as you plug something in, it's going from like 109 to 137. It's weird. I don't know what's up with it, but it works for stuff that doesn't require like voltage stability like that power supply up there. Anyway, so I've got my work phone sitting on top charging. I've got 3 different fans running, and I figured I need to burn off some energy. I didn't want to put a heater on it, so why not boil some hard-boiled eggs? So that's what's going on here with this induction cooktop, and it pulls about 1,300 watts normally. With all the other fans, it's up to about 15, and it's early in the morning still. It's about 9 a.m. East Coast time recording this video, which it'll get uploaded right after I get done with this, because no editing, no filters as usual. But I'm really tired of waiting 3 hours for the battery to get down and discharged. So I'm gonna boil some eggs. When that's done, it'll probably be down to around 10%, I guess, when I get finished with these eggs. So I'm gonna let it discharge down, and then I'm gonna let it charge back up with the grid power right over there in the outlet and the solar input. Now on my solar input, for months I ran this thing independent because I had 3 solar panels in a series in one string and 3 solar panels in another series in a different string, but they were slightly located in different places, and they got sunlight at different times. So I ran them as independent. Now I have them lined up behind my little shade thing there, my backdrop, so I don't have glare from the sun coming in all over this video. I have my 6 solar panels lined up, so I have 3 in series, and those 6 solar panels, effectively 2 large arrays, are paralleled together. That means they come in with just the one lead right here. So instead of having to run 4 wires into a place, you only have to run 2. And then it splits it out, and it prioritizes usually number 1. So everything up to about 20 amps or 1200 watts, it goes in there. I noticed around 1,000 it starts splitting out to the other charge controller. So if you haven't run it that way, it might be a good idea if you don't want to spend a bunch of money on copper, because running that much copper is getting pretty expensive. So that gives you an option. That's going to be probably how I have this unit configured. But I did something kind of silly. Before this unit was repaired and sent back, I bought a second one. Not more batteries. I bought just the second E3600LFP, and I bought the double voltage hub. So this is going to be my initial backbone for off-grid capability. I have soft starts on my 3.5 ton air conditioner. By the numbers, 2 of these should be able to run that system just fine. I've got my starting amps on the 3 ton down to about 27 amps. And as I understand it, when you parallel 2 of these together, they each share the load in a 240 volt circuit. So, that would be around 14 amps going into this one and 14 amps going into the other one, which is about half the load of the system by itself. Now, it's a house. I got a bunch of other stuff in the house that I know, just like when I was living in my RV, at 30 amps, I cannot run an air conditioner, a microwave, my water heater. I can't run all of those at the same time on AC. So, for an off-grid type setup, it's similar to what it was when I was living in my RV, using this setup right here on solar alone, no grid power whatsoever. I've only actually killed it once, all the way down to 0, running it on solar when we had some days that just didn't have any sun. And I did have some overloads and some inverter issues that I was able to remedy with a reset. So let me tell you what they did with the system here. So they replaced the inverter board, and they also replaced the BMS. Now, when I first bought this unit, if you go back and look at one of the first videos I published on this unit, and I've got to grab my meter over here. So let's see, where's the meter at? Yep, unprepared as usual. All right, so one of the first videos I did, and you can go back and check it out, didn't get a lot of views. And it was something that I was wondering that they were going to address when they did the repair. And to Pecron's credit, they actually did. All right, so before, when this unit was turned on, bear with the camera. We're gonna get this thing all done up. So back when I did this test initially, it was having about 48 volts AC between the positive and the negative prong, the way that I have it here. Now it's 0.2, it's just normal stray voltages that would appear. That seems to be fixed. The other thing that they fixed was this thing used to make noises when it was running under a load like it is now. Well, that is no longer the case. It's not making weird whooshing noises that you may have heard in some of the videos. So I've got a pretty good load on it right now. Voltage stability is pretty good, right at 119.7. I don't even think my grid power is that stable, to be honest. But this thing over here, I'll put one in there, and then I'll put this one over here. So right now this shows 116 volts. I'm gonna unplug. Hey, trying to film and hold. Yeah, I'd really like to have a better camera set up, but that's not going to happen. That's not in the budget right now. So we're going to unplug this. We're going to plug it into here. We're going to make this thing do some work. Now, the voltage is kind of jumping around a little bit. It's steady at 115, but when I had, what else did I have plugged into this thing that made it weird? Oh yeah, I had this fan right here. Let's see, that fan is plugged in right here. So, yeah, gotta move some stuff around. All right, we're gonna move this all the way over here. Shove that in that one outlet. All right, there we are. Start 117. Plug this fan back in. Don't make a liar out of me. It's not going to be all over the place. Interesting. So this was jumping all over the place the last time I had that fan in, but it is what it is. I guess it's behaving now for some reason. But I did notice that when I was doing testing running that thing with a good load on it, which, ooh, that's hot. Ooh, ow, that thing's warm. This fan made this thing get nice and toasty. So anyway, it's back. We're down to about 13%. The water's starting to boil, and I guess we're gonna see how this thing works. And I can't wait till the other one comes in. But to wrap it up, it's back. It's going through it charged up last night, and they said to keep it charging until the input drops to 0 watts. I stayed up to 10 last night, and it did not do that. So I went to sleep. I ended up waking up and checking on it a couple of times. I noticed it around 1 a.m. That's when I plugged all these fans and everything in. And it said it was going to run all of my fans minus the refrigerator. I got that out of my garage this morning to try to speed up the process. But it said that it was going to take like 15 hours. When I finally got everything put in and decided to boil some eggs, it said it was going to take about another 4 hours to discharge down. So we're going to wrap it up with the eggs boiling, and then when they're done, we'll be at the right percentage. Just let this thing kind of come down slowly till it shuts off without a heavy load on it right now. So that's the goal, to get this thing commissioned correctly this time. And I'm assuming the same is true for these batteries over here. They may require to do a complete discharge cycle, and they recommend doing it at least once a month to maintain the cell balance. So that's fully charged down to 0. So I guess that's something that I'll have to incorporate into my plan to make sure this works. It may mean unplugging solar input for a day and letting it completely discharge. So more videos to come. Thank you for watching. Sorry for rambling and being disorganized as usual, but hey, you came back, or you're watching it for the first time. So go check out some of my other videos. Please give me a like. It helps. I'm trying to grow the channel and get it monetized so I can try to make some more interesting content and afford to buy something else other than just budget solar chargers for the homestead. So thanks for watching. Have a great day.